Good morning, my dudes, and welcome back to my little corner of the internet. Lay down, Lucy. If you're new here, I'm Evan, and I knit things and do lots of other crafty stuff too. And if you're a regular, welcome back. I'm so glad you're all here. We've had a decent number of new subscribers, so hi, welcome, all of you. Yeah, thanks for stopping by. Today is podcast episode number 27, and for me, it is Friday, October 10th. So, I have a decent amount of stuff to tell you about, since we didn't have a podcast last week, because I only worked on my sample. Lucy, no. Place. My dog's trying to rub herself on my tripod, and that is not going to work out. Okay, so I have some finished objects, some whips, at least one thing you haven't seen yet, a lot of books to talk about, and one acquisition. So, let's jump right in. First, let's do what am I wearing? This is the Field Day Cardigan by Ozetta. It is knit up in Knit Picks something tweed. It's DK weight. I really like it. The colorway I think was kelp. It's perfect for the temperature that it is today. And I got these cute little Monstera leaf buttons on Etsy. So, there's that. Finished object. I did finish the sample that was ruining my life and taking up all of my time. So I finished that. I actually got a new sample yesterday, but I don't have the stuff for it yet. I just got the request to do it. So I'll be starting that this coming week, but it's real small, so it shouldn't take more than a couple days. Second finished object. I don't have to show you because it is still wet. I just finished it and blocked it yesterday, so I can't wear it yet. But it is the Haw Creek Pullover by Andrea Gaughan. I'll put a picture of it on the screen. Well, okay, I'll put a picture of what it's supposed to look like and then the blocking version. The yarn for that is Nua Sport by Carol Feller, and the colorway is Hatter's Teal Party. I did do some modifications on this one. Let me see. Gotta turn to that page in my journal here. I made the size 3, or she has them labeled by letter, so I made the size C. Mods I made. I did more decreases in the sleeves because I really hate when a sleeve is more open than like this at the wrist. I am not a bell sleeve person. If I can't push it up like this and have it stay, I won't wear it ever. So I added more decreases to the sleeve, and I think I also added length to the sleeves. And then I lengthened the body by a lot, like 3 inches. And I don't particularly have a long torso, but this is meant to be kind of cropped, and I didn't want it to be that. And I think that's all the mods that I made. Let me tell you when I started and finished this project, and then I will tell you something else in a minute here. Okay, so I started the Haw Creek Pullover on July 4th, and I finished it on October 8th. And I have been planning to make this project since it came out in 2024. It is on my Make 9 right here. When I take finished object photos, I will put the picture right here. And then we can just talk about my Make 9 for a second here. So this is finished. That was my Summer Sorrel So that'll go right there. I usually wait until I have 4 pictures to print out because they print out like in a 4 square. So this one I'll have to print out because it's finished. And this one I'll have to print out because it's finished. And the blur cardigan I am currently working on. I will show you the progress of that in a minute. And then the 2 left on my Make 9 that aren't started yet are the Morning in Siena by Minimi Knit Design, which is this one, and the Crown of Roses by Kathleen Simpson, which is this one. And I did swatch for this one, but I'm deciding what to do about it because the gauge for my swatch is really goofy, like really, really goofy. It's too small one way and too big the other way. Yeah. I may just have to do some gauge math because I like the fabric that my swatch made for the color work. Like, I like how that turned out. So I don't really want to change it because I would need to then make it looser, and I don't want it to be any looser gauge than it is. So this may just be a math situation. But anyway, I guess let's move to whips then. Okay, first whip, cross stitch. I did work on this a bit, and by a bit I mean just this morning. I did exactly 1 row of yellow, and then I decided to start on the back stitching. So I did all the back stitching on the black, which you really can't see very well. Like, maybe you can see it like right here. Is that even in the frame? Yeah, like right here. And then I did all the back stitching for the white. Like, I did all around him and around the thing, and now I'm working on the back stitching on the blue guy. So there's that. I hope you could see that the whole time and that it was in focus. I'm sorry if it wasn't. I actually have another project that I want to start. So sorry for the crinkles. With all this for my partner for Christmas, but I need to finish this one because this one's for Henry for Christmas. Well, it was supposed to be for Henry for Christmas last year, but that didn't happen. So that's definitely the priority. Okay. Other whips. I forgot to close my bedroom door and my children are screaming downstairs. They have off school today, so let me just go close the door. Hold please. Okay, I'm back. Let's talk about my blur cardigan. This is by Opie, and I am using a selection of yarns from a, well, you know, actually, she seems to have quit her Harry Potter addiction right now, so I'll tell you who it is. Most of this yarn is from Dragon Horde Yarn. She at least doesn't have her Harry Potter house in her bio anymore. And I haven't seen her post anything about Harry Potter in a while. So maybe I'll give her another chance. I do love her yarn. She makes gorgeous things. But here's what it looks like. This white is by her. It's Bone Carver. The pink here is Heartgate. And then the 2 middle colors I'm using, these are from Ella Ray. It's their merino lace, but it's not lace. Is that this one? No, this one and this one are the Ella Ray. And they don't have color names, they just have numbers. So these are the Ella Ray. And then this is the last color, which is also Dragon Horde. But I don't remember what the colorway was for this one. I had gotten this one, the pink and the white, as a kit from her to make one of her sweaters, one of the court sweaters, the spring court maybe, I don't remember, but I didn't end up liking it for that, so I'm using it for this instead. And originally last year this was knit into a dress, this yarn was, and I hated it, so I unraveled the whole thing, and now it's this gorgeous cardigan. Anyway, so it's been split for sleeves, and I have just introduced the third color out of 5. Now the pattern does not give you instructions for 5 colors. There's 4, 6, 8, or 12. So I went through the whole pattern and wrote down like an in-between between the 4 and 6, which was quite a lot of work. But here's what we've got so far. Like I said, the third color has just been introduced. Here's where we were last time. I had just started the single color section for color B. Let me move this for you, and I'm actually going to move it to the front instead of leaving it on the back. Also, I did the first buttonhole, which is right here. So I pulled out the buttons so we can see how it looks. Here's where the button will go. I'm actually going to change that to a plastic marker if at some point I remember to do that. But these are the buttons I got from Twin Mountain Handcrafts. Sorry about the crinkles. It's very loud. But here's the button. I feel like all you can see is the mirror part of it and not really the color. These are champagne, it said. But I think it'll look really nice with all the other colors. Yeah. So that's my blur cardigan. I'm wanting to knit on this right now. That's the project I want to work on right now. So I think this will be my main project for the moment. Next whip. This is my Sweet Shop blanket. I am filming knitting this for my little series called Random Scrappy Sweet Shop Blanket. So if you don't want spoilers for ahead of where the videos are, just go ahead and skip to the next project. It'll be called Forests of Arda, so you can just skip ahead to that. So, last chance. Here we go. This is the Sweet Shop Blanket by Laura Penrose, and I am using all of my fingering weight hand-dyed yarn scraps. This is going to be really difficult to show you, but I'll just show you in sections, I guess. Okay. We currently have 29 squares. I need a lot more squares, like a lot more. But, you know, that's how it goes. I'm really enjoying knitting this, but it takes so much longer than I expect it to, because you're knitting these squares, well, you're knitting triangles that make a square. You knit them with short rows, so they take longer than you think. I usually do about 3 squares a day on it, but I am taking today off of it because I want to work on my blur cardigan. Okay, spoilers over, new cast on. This is the Forests of Arda cardigan by Melanie Roundtree. I am making this for my mother for Christmas, so Mom, if you're watching this and you don't want spoilers, skip ahead to acquisitions. Last chance. Okay, here's what I have. I literally cast on and knit 2 rows. This is the start of the back. Here's my swatch though. It's gonna look really good. Yarn I'm using is Knit Picks Wool of the Andes worsted. The green is called Shire Heather, and the light gray is called Dove Heather. So it's gonna look really good, I think. And I love that this is Lord of the Rings inspired, and this is called Shire Heather. Like, obviously when I saw that they had that color and it was a dark green, and a really pretty dark green that's like my mom's favorite. And I like how it's so heather that like there's also browns in there. Very, very woodsy. Love it. So this cardigan is supposed to be knit in the round and steeked, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to knit it flat as a cardigan. And I guess they're doing that because people don't like doing cabling flat. They like doing cabling in the round, but I don't really care either way. And I would rather not steek it because there's just so much more work in the finishing. Like, yes, it makes the knitting a little faster, but then you have to cut the steek, sew down the steek, possibly cover the steek. More work than I care to do currently. So, I'm not going to steek it. Which hopefully I will figure that out okay. I'm also having to do a mishmash of sizing because my gauge was close, but in a worsted weight like this, close is not really enough. Like the stockinette gauge is supposed to be 18 by 26 and mine is 19 by 26, and that makes more of a difference than you think it does. But anyway, acquisitions. I have 2 to show you. One, I'm going to show you days 1 through 10 of the Fangirl Fibers Dark Academia Halloween Countdown box and chat about that for a minute. So if you don't want spoilers for days 1 through 10, skip ahead probably 5 minutes, okay? So, picture, I am not happy. Nothing about this says Dark Academia to me. Like, okay, here's the promo picture. Do these match to you? Because they don't match to me. Maybe I'm crazy, but I was hoping for a lot more moody, and this is way more pastel than I was expecting. Yeah. So, moving on. Second acquisition is a 2-parter. So I have posted in the description box below a Ravelry wish list. And I often forget to say, but I always mean to say, if you want to support the channel, since I'm not monetized or anything, you can buy me a pattern on my Ravelry wish list, and that would be so nice, and I would love that so much. Well, we had a lovely subscriber buy me the Willow Pullover pattern. So thank you, wonderful subscriber. I am so pleased that you bought me this pattern. Thank you so much. That was so kind of you. And so, of course, I had to buy yarn for it immediately. So I got this yarn, which I've never used before, but it feels quite nice. So we're gonna try it out. This is the Lion Brand Superwash Merino. It says it's a DK. The yardage would indicate that it is somewhere between a sport and a DK. It's 306 yards per 100 grams. It's 100% merino. This color is called Quail. And I got 5 of these to knit that gorgeous sweater. So that will be my next cast on, for surely sure. If you feel like supporting the channel and me, you can always buy me a pattern on my Ravelry wish list. For this, I will be filming the whole thing, so you'll get to see the whole thing as it's made. It won't really be a challenge type deal. I'll just give updates in videos. But I'll post that both to Instagram and here on YouTube. So again, thank you so much, lovely subscriber. You know who you are. So if there's something in my wish list that you really want to see me make, here's your chance. Yeah, I feel like there was something else I wanted to say, but I can't remember. Oh, I remember. Okay, so I have been on Instagram. There are these 2 creators I follow that I absolutely love, Knitted by Whitney and Carly in New England, and they're both doing this like dice and whip thing, like where they write down all of their whips and number them, and then they roll a d20 or whatever number die they need to roll for however many whips they have to decide which whip to work on. And then Whitney rolls, I don't remember which die, but the one that has like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, that one to decide how long to work on it for. And Carly rolls a d4 to decide how many hours to work on it for. And like, I really want to do that. Like really. Like, and I knit really fast, I know this, and I have a lot of hours to knit. And I also have like serious choice paralysis a lot of the time in deciding what thing I want to work on. So I'm seriously considering like either like casting on a bunch of stuff or writing down things that I have yarn for and the pattern for that I want to cast on and doing that same thing because it's so fun. I love a thing where I get to roll a die and I don't have to make a decision. It decides for me. Love that. So if that's something you'd be interested in, leave me a comment down below that, yeah, you want to see that. Okay, so that was the thing I wanted to say. Okay, we can move on to books now. So if you're unaware, it is Banned Book Week from October 5th to October 11th. So when you're watching this, it'll be the last day of Banned Book Week. So I wanted to try to read as many banned books as I could during Banned Book Week. And I've read a lot. But let's talk about books before Banned Book Week first. So I'll tell you when we get to those. Okay, so first I finished Battle of the Bookstores by Allie Brady. That was adorable, 5 stars. I finished Enchantra by Kaylee Smith. Not adorable, but so spicy, so good, 5 stars. I did go back and finish Legendborn by Tracy Dion. 4 stars because of Bree's whining. But the story got really interesting and I really liked it. Tenderly I Am Devoured by Lyndall Clipstone. This one was weird. Good, but weird. I haven't decided how I feel about it, and I finished it on October 2nd, and I still haven't decided. But I gave it 4 stars because the writing was beautiful. Okay, then Do Your Worst by Rosie Dannon. This was just a Their Kinks Aren't My Kinks thing that I'm glad they enjoyed themselves, but I didn't love it. So 3 stars for that one. Okay, and then my reads for Banned Book Week. First I read All Boys Aren't Blue by George M. Johnson. I have to give them a star rating in the apps, but I don't want to give them a star rating because this is like their personal narrative and it feels rude to rate it. So I'm not going to. Then I read Genderqueer by Maya Kobabe. And then Stamped, Racism, Anti-Racism, and You by Jason Reynolds. I loved that one. It was so good. If you haven't read this book, go read it. So good. Then I read They Called Us Enemy by George Takei. That one was so sad. Like, I expected that. I knew it would be, but wow. Looking for Alaska by John Green. And Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. And then I read all of those, and now my brain needs a break. Because all of those were relatively thoughtful. Like, you needed to think and process. And so I think I am probably done reading banned books for the year. Well, for banned book week. I end up reading banned books all the time. But specifically these important books that may not necessarily fit into genres that I regularly read but are important and people should read. There is one more that I really want to read that isn't technically banned, but like everything else by this author is like banned all the time. I want to also read Our Prison's Obsolete by Angela Davis, but I have to get to it. I have about 9,000 books on my shelf on Libby right now because all of those banned books, none of them had like I hadn't put holds on any of them, and I've had so many holds come available this week. So currently I am reading With My Partner Artemis by Andy Weir. And my physical read right now is Dungeon Crawler Carl by Matt Dineman. And I am also reading Yumi and the Nightmare Painter by Brandon Sanderson to finish out my Cosmere reading for the year. I have 2 more books after this one, so I really need to get on it if I'm going to finish it by the end of the year. And I am currently reading Best Hex Ever by Nadia El Fassi. Love. So, lots of books. Lots of books. But that is all I have for you today. I hope you liked this episode. Follow me over on Instagram if you don't already, and if you want to see like when I open the advent calendar, Halloween countdown, whatever, every morning. Click that little notification bell to be notified of my next upload. And yeah, you can support the channel by buying me a pattern on my Ravelry wishlist, or I don't know, subscribing, liking, commenting here and Instagram. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you all have a great day. I hope you are surviving the horrors of America right now, or that you don't live in America and things are lovely. And I so hope that's true for you. I hope you find something that you want to do today and that you have time to do it just for yourself. Make sure to take care of yourself. Drink water. Drink water. And I will see you guys all here next time. I love you all so much. Bye!